Thursday, August 5th, 2026. My name is Dennis Lipstock. If you're here first time, let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from. And if you're here for the second, third, fourth, whatever time, also let me know where you're coming in from because I want to see how diverse we are. But you want to ask yourself this question: why do some of the most brilliant leaders who have the best strategies in the world, best resources, still hit performance plateaus in their work, in their career, that they really can't seem to break through? Why is that? And you see, the problem is most leadership trainings, most leadership programs focus on conscious strategy. So they focus on the what and the how. However, results, if we talk about results specifically, are always driven by subconscious paradigm. Always. And today we are diving deep into the lesson where we will discuss how to identify those hidden mental blocks, which we call paradigms, that really dictate the results and how to shift them for permanent growth. So let's get started. And if it's first time here, Stand-Up Leadership was developed for you to really get a weekly bite, in a sense, for you to really understand a key concept for you to really maximize your result, for you to really make a shift and a pivot this week. Not next week, not next month, this week, right now. It's a short stand-up meeting, so you don't even have to sit down for it. You can stand up for the 20 minutes that I'm here. And if you take this, and if you understand what I'm about to share with you this week and the next following weeks, you can really apply it very effectively, and you will see some really, really powerful results in your personal life, and especially in your professional life as well. So let's talk about it. Paradigm. What is a paradigm? If you cannot stand in front of a group of people, professionals, and talk confidently for 30 minutes or more about paradigms, what are paradigms, how are they formed, and how to change them and how they impact our life, you have no idea how they're actually impacting your life. A paradigm is a multitude of habits that is stored in the subconscious portion of our mind. And paradigms are controlling almost all of our behavior. And almost all of our behavior is habitual. Now, paradigms, what they do is they place us in a box, in a logic box. And paradigms actually structure our logic. They structure the way we perceive what is logical and what is not. And we often reject big ideas because they don't make sense. But they don't only make sense because they don't make sense within our current paradigm, our current belief system, right? You have to think about it. A long time ago, it did not make sense that human beings can fly with an airplane. And there are people who suggested that we pursue that path of discovering and inventing and creating a device that can help us fly on top of the world. They were called crazy. The Wright brothers who invented the airplane, their own father wanted to put them into a mental hospital because everyone else's paradigm was that it's not possible. Their logic was not there. And so you got to ask yourself, what is your current paradigm about your career? What is your current paradigm about yourself, about leadership, about success, about winning, about losing, about health, about relationships, about women, about men, about work, about health, right? So what is your current paradigm? Look at one area, choose one area right now that usually is the best to choose. What is the one area right now that you are most dissatisfied with? And ask yourself honestly, where is my current paradigm right now in this area? And if you can be really brutally honest with yourself, you will see this is what I believe right now, right? And it doesn't go and look at it neutrally, because what you believe right now has given you the results and behaviors and experiences you are experiencing right now. Now, if you do want to change that, you can. But first, it takes conscious awareness of where you are. This is the first step to change. Any organization, any person, any leader, if you want to change, we have to become a problem aware. And if you look at the corporate culture, a corporate culture is simply a group paradigm. It's a group paradigm. It's a culture that a group of people came together and collectively they formed a group paradigm, a group belief system. And if you look at a culture that is stagnant, it's because the group habits, the paradigm, has not shifted yet. They have not yet. And regardless of new mission statements, new strategies, new plans, or logos, they are stagnant. And you know, Joe Barker said that to ignore the power of paradigms, to influence your judgment, is to put yourself at a significant risk when exploring the future. And I think if you really don't explore the future with paradigms in mind, you're really putting yourself at significant risk at losing. I'm not here to say that you're going to miss out, although you may. But culture, if we talk about culture in a corporation, culture is founded on habits, on work practices, on attitudes, on beliefs and expectations, and also known as paradigms collectively. And if you put those paradigms together, you approach and react to the world personally around you, interpreting what you see and what you experience according to those shared understandings and those culturally determined guidelines. And there may be a few special birds in there that don't, but generally that's the game. And a paradigm, in a sense, tells you that there is a game, what the game is, and how to play it successfully. Now, if you want to shift a paradigm, that's a change to a new game or a new set of rules of the game. And when the rules start to change, the whole world seems to be changing. But actually, the world didn't change, you changed, right? Like if you read a book or a really good non-fictional book, and then you go back to it the second time, the third time, maybe the fourth time, and you read it and you find something you didn't see it in the first time. What changed? Was it the book that changed? No, because the book is printed already. So you changed because you and your awareness has changed about a certain area or a topic. So you were able to notice and become aware of something different. And that's what a paradigm shift is. A paradigm shift is a place where you shift your awareness of who you are. As a person, as a leader, as a father, as a mother, as a friend, as a salesperson, whatever it is. So in other words, to make it really blunt for you, if you want to change your paradigms, has to change the way you create your results. And paradigms are neither negative nor positive. They can be both, like you judge them if they're negative and positive, but they are expressed in either positive or negative results. Understand this. Results are always a manifestation of an image that you held in your subconscious mind. And realize this, we think in pictures. And if you have a continuous picture of certain areas about work, about life, about relationships, about health, about career, about success, you have a picture of what that means to you. And we think in pictures. And if that picture is not conducive to what you want, there's no way you can create what you want. So what do? We have to change the picture of how we see ourselves. So let's look at it. What is the difference between the mechanics of results and the behavior versus the cause? Because the behavior is merely the expression of the paradigm. And if you try to change behavior without changing the paradigm, the improvement will be only temporary. And we can see this every year. Every year, end of the year or beginning of the year, people set out New Year's resolutions. I will do this, I will do that, maybe I will go to the gym, I will get fit, and soon enough, few months in, the New Year's resolutions start to fade away. Why is that? Because the underlying cause of the existing results has not been changed. The behavior itself was forced. And once you force a behavior without changing the root cause of it, the results are always temporary. They're always temporary because you haven't changed the root cause. And your paradigm, its only task is to keep you on track. Right now, that on track is with the old result that you may not like anymore, right? And so if you're a leader and you want to change anyone's behavior, the first and only thing you need to now do is to help the person understand what is causing them to behave the way they behave. Because if you cannot help the person become aware of what is causing them to create the results they're creating, nothing's going to happen. And the thing is, people do not resist change. People resist being changed. Everyone likes change. Change is part of life. Maybe not everyone, but people are born to create change. A small baby is continue growing, wants to learn to talk, to walk, to run, whatever it is, to crawl before that. And it's a natural inclination of a human being to grow. But if a person is forced into change, there's resistance because that's not what they want. That's not the way they want. And so if you want someone who is, in a sense, following you or looking up to you, or you want them to look up to you, the first thing you need to do is help them understand what is causing them to create the behavior and the results they're having. If you can help them understand what's happening underneath, that's when you can help them actually change. But you have to understand this. If you don't understand it yourself, you cannot explain it to another person. Because people don't do what you say, they do what you do, and they also do who you are. People follow your energy, right? And so here's a really powerful but ridiculous effect, the rubber band effect. You see, oftentimes we see a spike of performance. A lot of times after a seminar, after training, people are excited, they're motivated, only to return again to their old results week later. And it's the same result, same situation, because they're motivated. Motivation is short-lived. Motivation is great, but if there's no consistency behind the motivation, there's nothing changing that. And if there's no permanent change in the cause, in the root cause, there's nothing can change. So the subconscious mind automatically, without thinking, will pull the individual back to their, what we call, their comfort zone, or also the zone of knowing, the zone of the existing world, right? And a lot of times leaders often start to blame the circumstances. They blame the economy, they blame the team, they blame the market, the competitors, you name it. The politicians. But understanding this, what we're sharing here today, will help you not only learn, but it will help you learn that the cause is always internal. It is always internal, never external. And paradigm is the thing that actually tracks the conditions that match the programming that you're on right now. So if you want to attract different conditions, guess what you have to change? You have to change the programming. So here's a practical thing to actually change what you are creating right now. Because you have to authentically and honestly look at your results and really do an audit. Do an audit and ask yourself, what are the activities that I'm doing right now that aren't giving the results that I'm receiving? And then you write down non-productive activities from that, habits that consume time but don't really move the needle forward. What are they? First step to change is awareness. Become aware. And then you have to figure out what are the productive activities, the PAs, the really high leverage habits that can help you align with your desired results. What are they? Most important part, most people try to change too many things at the same time, expecting the things to change, but nothing really changing. So the focus is on replacing one or two maximum key habits that you want to change either individually or collectively in order for you to make the change. Once those are in place, we can take the next one. But you do not implement more than one or two key habits. Because if you try to, your focus is diluted. You will not get anywhere by focusing on more than two things at a time. And here's the thing. Most people use imagination against themselves, honestly. But you got to use the higher faculty imagination to see the desired results as present in reality. You have to see them as if they're already created. Because your subconscious mind has no clue about the past, it has no clue about the future. It always works with the now. So whatever you feed it with that is emotionalized will go in there consistently. And this is what starts to nourish the new paradigm with emotion and with repetition. Repetition is the first law of learning. And so people, like I said, people don't resist change when it's their choice. People resist being changed. Involve people in this. Help people understand what is causing them to do what they're doing. And if you do, and if you help them understand, it will make a lifetime of change for them. And so I want you to really consider this. And as I said, repetition is the first law of learning. Repeat this over and over again until you're like, now I get it. And go and apply it. Go and apply it. Involve your team in identifying what are the team non-productive habits right now. And what are we choosing as teams productive habits is that we can adopt to really make the change, to really make the needle move forward. And if a company or any organization or a team wants to really improve the bottom line of what they're doing, the culture, the group paradigm must improve first. Always. It must improve first. And always look at the results. Your results are always a mirror of your mind, right? And mind is in every cell of your body. Your brain is not the mind. Your brain is part of your body, like any other organ is. Your mind is in every cell of your mind, of your body. So let's summarize. Your results are a mirror of your mind. To change that reflection of the mirror, you must change the source, which is the paradigm. So I want to invite you to really take some time to write down the unwanted results, the first step, right? The awareness. And then also from that, corresponding non-productive activities on a piece of paper. Then I want you to really physically shred them. You can burn them, but do it safely in a fireplace. And it's a really symbolic act of mental release. And then write what you want. What is the ideal result? And what is the activity that you need to do? Positive activity. And, Earl Nightingale said very clearly that whatever we plant in a subconscious mind and nourish it with repetition and emotion will one day become a reality. It will. Whatever you have been emotionalizing right now is present in your current results. Look at them. They're always neutral. They tell what is going on internally. Now, I want you to really rate from 1 to 10, how much do you feel that your current results reflect your true potential? Put it in the comments. Be honest, please.